Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Sneaky Pat, and this is Casual Review, where we review games in 4 minutes or less. Well, normally. Casual reviews are completed within 4 minutes. However, I've chosen not to impose a time constraint on this evaluation. It's important to understand that my assessment is solely based on 20 plus hours with the game, in which I believe provides a significant amount of time to offer a comprehensive opinion. Although I have yet to roll them credits, and it's simply not my normal review because I haven't beaten the game. And of course, as always, there will be no story spoilers, but we'll still show you gameplay from any part of the game. Again, I'm Sneaky Pat, and this is the 1v1 Gaming Casual Review on Avowed. I want to state up front that I really like Avowed. I damn near love it. Now, just to clarify, it is distinct from Skyrim and Fallout. This is a welcome difference for me, as I found Fallout's gameplay unappealing and Skyrim came out originally in 2011. Furthermore, yes, it differs from Baldur's Gate 3 and as well as Dragon Age the Veilguard. And it's completely different than Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 or 2. The sole commodity amongst these titles is their clarifications as RPGs. While Avowed is different and really bears a closer resemblance to Obsidian's Entertainment's other game, The Outer Worlds, I'm acknowledging this similarity, but Avowed will be reviewed independently, minimizing direct comparisons to other titles. One of the first things you'll notice about Avowed, it has vibrant visuals. Although this 1080p recording will not fully capture the details, Obsidian's masterful implications of the Unreal Engine 5 is truly on display. Gaming on a 120Hz display consistently maintains a frame rate of approximately 60 FPS, occasionally dipping to around 50 FPS. As a person who no longer play games at 30 FPS, but only games that run at 60 FPS or higher, I found the performance of Avowed satisfying throughout my 20 plus hours of gameplay. I did have a single hard crash resulting in some data loss, but only lost 2 to 3 minutes thanks to the presence of an autosave checkpoint. As far as the story goes in Avowed, well, it isn't amazing, but it's not terrible neither. I've been hooked, but since it's in the same world as Pillars of Eternity, it does feel like they expect you to already know the lore, so it's a bit confusing at times. However, this did not detract my enjoyment from the game. To illustrate, I'm going to use God of War's 2018 as an example. God of War 2018 is really God of War 4. It was not a complete reboot for the story of Kratos. The events of God of War 1 through 3 and other God of War titles are strongly referenced. It even continues in God of War's Ragnarok. A lot of people have no idea why Kratos' skin is gray and why Kratos being so calm is actually scary. So I will concur that a similar situation is occurring with Avowed. Lacking prior experience with the Pillars of Eternity games, I occasionally found certain story elements unclear, and I'm sure parts of the story would hit harder if I already knew some of the lore. But again, this has not diminished my overall enjoyment of the story. I would like to suggest that you know your reviewer preferences. My reviews prioritize gameplay above all else. For me, poor game mechanics, even in a game with a great story, it will significantly impact my final verdict. Therefore, please just remember that these reviews reflect a single individual perspective. Now, as far as the plot of the story for Avowed, you assume the role of a divine entity. You're dispatched to the living lands to research this plague called the Dream Scourge. You'll also have this eternal voice in your head and you have no idea what it is. However, I must reiterate my strong engagement with Avowed's compelling storytelling. I just don't talk much about story details in any review to avoid spoilers. Avowed Living Lands do not constitute a fully open world, but rather a series of interconnected zones resembling a sandbox environment. Currently, I'm exploring the second zone. I do anticipate transitioning to a third zone soon. However, this review only reflects my progress to date and it's not based on a complete playthrough. Despite not being fully open world, these zones are expansive, offering engaging exploration with rewarding discoveries that provide value for the most part. Avowed movement mechanics are surprisingly exceptional. I did not expect such fluidity in this first-person game. While I'm avoiding direct comparisons, Avowed movement is comparable to the Far Cry or Dying Light games. Okay, it's not as good as Dying Light, but not far from it. So yeah, this is indeed Obsidian's most refined parkour system yet. This exceptional movement is complemented by equally exceptional combat mechanics. That's a major key element for me while I'm playing video games. Again, know your reviewer. Avowed combat is truly remarkable.
Next one's mine.
Regardless of your chosen playstyle, the game combat mechanics deliver a satisfying experience. Sword play, spell casting, shield bashing, bow and arrow, and a lot more. It all feel impactful. While I initially focused on the fighter class, I have incorporated elements of the wizard class into my build and got damn and stronger. There is also a third class, which is a ranger class, but I haven't invested any skill points in that area, so therefore I cannot comment on its effectiveness, but I'm sure it also has some nice ass abilities. There are 3 distinct skill trees correspond to the 3 classes. Customization is flexible, allowing for any combination. You can respect your skills at any point. While the cost is currently low for me, I have seen in other reviews that this price will go up. In addition to your own skills, you can also utilize your companion's abilities. You may assign any skill to the D-pad or numbers on the keyboard from 1 to 6. When using the mouse and keyboard, well, we'll discuss that later. Furthermore, you have powerful special abilities that are called godlike abilities. While I won't be showing you any in this review, they too represent another piece of your arsenal. Combat can be intense, involving close range enemies, range attackers, and even your need to support your allies. While overwhelming at first, as you start to learn your build in the enemies, you'll get a lot more comfortable when it's time for battle. As far as the setting goes, you can change up quite a bit. You can change most of the HUD, the controller sensitivity and dead zones are great. You cannot, however, rebind any controller input. Now, regarding mouse and keyboard controls, I find them superior for first-person view games, and I appreciate that Avowed offered this option. Avowed does detect that you're using mouse and keyboard because your HUD looks different and the key prompt shows up on the screen, but it's not fully supported at the time of this review. Examples are, once you open the map, there is no cursor with the mouse. Once you open the radar menu, it only works on the right side. The left side of the wheel can't be used at all. You can't rebind keys while using mouse and keyboard, and there's no walk button. So if you want to slightly move, you can't. I strongly recommend using a controller to play Avowed if you're not playing directly through a PC. While I've been praising Avowed this whole time, there are minor issues that I just don't like. There's a few invisible walls. When you change to your second set of weapons, there's a slight delay. And while not bad out of combat, you'll truly feel it in the middle of combat. I hope there's a skill in the skill tree to change the speed of switching weapons. You also can't romance any companions, but honestly for me, not having this option is okay. I also noticed that enemies don't seem to respawn. And another thing that bothers me is that you can't kill any NPC whenever you want to. I'm not talking about killing your companions, but whoever else you meet. In other games, I would do whatever the NPC asks me to do, hoping for a reward. But then I'll kill them and loot them. You can't do that in Avowed, and yes, it does suck. But mentioning looting, loot every damn thing you come across. There is no stealing mechanics in this game. NPCs may say something if you take an item in front of them, but there's no punishment for doing so, and there's so much loot to grab. Avowed has an abundance of loot. Your thorough exploration is highly rewarded. Despite my initial concerns regarding the Xbox Series X and ability to achieve a 60 FPS frame rate because of what the dev said, Avowed has been one of the best gaming experiences I've had on the Xbox Series X. The gameplay is exceptional. The visuals are vibrant, colorful, but yet it avoids a cartoonish aesthetic. And the story, while it may not be flawless, is very compelling, especially when enhanced by the inclusion of side missions, some of which even surpass certain aspects of the main story, and you'll find some of the best gear doing the side missions. And let me just say, choices do matter in Avowed. This is just a casual review, and remember, I've only played 20 plus hours, but I can easily see myself putting in 60 plus hours before I do roll those credits. I have no idea if the story will have a great conclusion or if it'll have a Game of Thrones ending. Either way, I'm addicted to Avowed, and I too believe you will be as well if you just gave Avowed a fair chance. Again, know your reviewer. I'm giving Avowed a smash. Before you leave, I'll ask you all to please like this video so more people can see it, and it also helps us out on the channel as well. I also ask that you subscribe if you haven't already. Also, drop a comment in the comment section if you plan on playing Avowed, and definitely tell me what you think if you've gotten your hands on it already. Again, I'm Sneaky Pat, and thank you for watching.